What is going on, everybody? Happy Sunday. As you're watching this, it is April 27th. We are leading into TNA Rebellion, which is coming up at the Galen Center on the campus of USC. And no two better people to talk about that, I think, than SoCal lifers. Of course, Jeff Meacham. If you're not on this channel, you're not knowing Jeff Meacham, kind of out of practice at this point. But joining me, longtime friend, I was talking this with my boys on the Greg Cherry show this last Wednesday. You and I go back to 2000, Millennium Pro Wrestling. Aaron's
Yeah.
dad, Zoob's Rick on commentary. You, the current GM of Monday Night Raw, Adam Pierce, and CD, Christopher Daniels, of course, talking about Frankie Kazarian, the man
Yeah.
who I feel should be the next world champion, by God, tonight as you're watching this. So we are pulling for Frankie. I know it's not cool to pull for that heel, but damn it, it's 25 years. Kiss my ass. Frankie, how the hell are you, man? I feel like we haven't
I'm
seen each other in so long. It's ridiculous.
I'm I'm doing really well, man. It's good to talk to you. Good to reconnect. And yeah, I can't believe God, 25 years. It's just flown by. It's incredible. But here we are, man. Still
Yeah,
doing it. Yeah.
it is. It is wild to me that there has been so much history connecting you to this brand, TNA. I mean, one of the original X Division stars, and certainly have been in and out, and moved up and down that crazy ladder. I love, by the way, that you call your shot trophy the Dixie Cup. I think that's tremendous for it. And people know, like it's great. I think that's
You know, you know.
hysterical.
Yep.
So I love that. If you know, you know, and if you don't know, you have been watching TNA for the last 20 years,
Yeah.
clearly. It's kind of silly. But yeah, I want to get your thoughts. I mean, as people are watching this, we're literally just moments from the pay-per-view going live from USC, which, if you're a SoCal person, SC is a major name on its own. Like, the powerhouse football, all the controversies, everything over the years. But for decades, you talk about college football, you talk about college powerhouses. SC was right there on the tip of everybody's tongue. And you get being the main event on that campus. I think that's wild.
Yeah, it's cool, man. It's I was able to go to the facility, the Galen Center last I think it was November, maybe early December, and watch a game and
Yeah.
meet the staff and everything. And it's a beautiful place, great venue. It's going to be cool to have thousands of screaming TNA fans there. It's going to be cool to be in Los Angeles, headlining a pay per
Yes.
view.
Yes.
It's going to be cool to be wrestling just kind of blocks away from where I grew up watching shows at the old LA Sports Arena. It's all a,
Right.
it's all a full circle moment for me, man, and it's one of those situations where it seems like the stars have aligned, and all I need to do is get the job done at Rebellion and finally become TNA World Champion, man.
It's one of those, I'm sure you drove through Canada coming up from the OC. It's so weird to drive by the old sports arena a lot and see this giant ass stadium. Like
Yeah,
it's still, even now, all these years later, like it's like, man, I remember WrestleMania being there more than once. And now
yeah,
it's this big old soccer stadium. It's very weird. Not the Galaxy Stadium though, because the Galaxy is a
yeah,
true LA team. Let's be real. Let's be real.
yeah. The that's the first place I ever saw live wrestling. So and then
Yeah, same, same.
I don't know if a dozen live events there, old house shows, a Saturday night's main event, so like that
Wow.
place, I was bummed when they tore that down, but it's cool to be, kind of in the shadows of where that place was.
Yeah, by the time they took the Oscars from, I mean, you and I can agree. I mean, there are places. I mean, it was a hole, but it was our hole. It was our piece of shit.
Yeah,
Like it was
yeah,
beautiful and it's all nasty. Yeah, first show I ever saw there, because I became a fan in 1990. First show I ever saw, period, was there, and the main event was a Desert Storm WWF Championship rematch. Hogan defending against Sergeant Slaughter. Like it's just like so weird to
yeah,
think about now. And then I
yeah.
think
That's
that was either the. Okay, I'm sorry.
I was saying that's my the first main event. The first show I went to was Hulk Hogan and Terry Funk, and
Jeez. So,
yeah,
so we're
so
talking like
that was
80s, like mid 80s. Wow, that's
yeah, it was
awesome.
February of '86. Yep,
Wow, God,
yeah,
it's so crazy that the history connects. And yeah, I think it was either the third or fourth ever Hogan Flair match. Was it because I know they did Oakland, I
Oh
think they
yeah,
did another city, and then they came into LA for that match where Flair had the big gold, and
yep,
he almost won the title. And then Valentine came out to argue, and it was just a weird
yeah,
time. My first year as a fan, so weird. But we're
yeah,
talking about now again. This city is so full of history. TNA has so rarely had a pay-per-view in Southern California, period. But they've always been like Irvine and like, out in the
Mhm.
Orange County area, or even out in like, the San Bernardino County. This is LA proper. This is huge for the LA
Yeah.
market. And I know even as a SoCal boy, this is another big milestone for everybody that's involved with TNA and you especially.
Yeah, since I came back to TNA, everybody, one of the questions I got asked most frequently was, when are you guys coming to Southern California? And I, until late last year, didn't have an answer. And it was always, I'm working on it, hopefully
Right?
soon. Ever since we announced this, there's a lot of buzz, there's a lot of energy. We haven't been in this area in well over a decade. That was where last time we were here was 2009, really. And that was in Irvine, where we're going to be the week after. So
Mm,
it's just
yes.
really cool to, like, finally bring a proper pay-per-view and a big one to Los Angeles, right in the heart and soul of the city. So again,
Yeah.
I'm psyched. I haven't been on a plane all month, which is a rarity for me. I've had all home games, I've had
Right.
Vegas, and I've had SoCal. So I'm very much taking advantage of that too.
You mentioned Vegas, and I know you were out there for a lot of the WrestleMania adjacent, we'll call it.
Yep.
How was it for you sitting there Sunday and watching a guy who, for all reports we hear, and even going into tonight, there's still that talk that he's working hurt, and there he is trotting his ass out there at WrestleMania and getting RKO'd. I mean, you just wanted to go. You just want to make my job easier, dude. Go for it. But for real though, the TNA brand, how cool was that for Joe and for the TNA brand to be out there at WrestleMania on Sunday?
Yeah. I mean, certainly, like I said, if there was 60,000 people watching. I don't know how many millions watching around the world. And for the those that didn't know what TNA is, they do now. And that's,
Oh yeah,
thanks to Joe Hendry and the opportunity that was given to him by WWE to come out there with the world title. And look at, there's no shame in losing to somebody like Randy Orton.
God no,
That's he's
you know.
he's when you have that Mount Rushmore conversation. I don't know why people don't throw his name up there. The difference between Joe and I is I would have won the match if it was me. But
Exactly. Exactly.
having said that, just regardless of what I feel about Joe, he's had an incredible year. It's unrivaled the way his star has risen and the popularity that he's achieved. And as a guy that flies the flag for TNA, I'm thrilled that he's getting the TNA brand and the TNA name out there.
Yeah, I was waiting to join the call with JJ and the crew for the Sip Up Studios to join the call for Cody and John. I thought, hey, you know what? Good for Joe. He gets a big main spot type moment on our April Sunday because the following Sunday is getting his ass kicked. So good on him for having the
That's
moment.
it.
And
That's it.
hey,
Yeah,
that's great.
I'm happy for someone like Randy Orton to soften him up for me a little bit. It's only going to make my job easier.
I just love that Joe hit the pose, and then Randy's like, okay, I'm gonna do my thing now.
Yep, that was
Yeah,
it. That
hit
was
him,
it.
Randy. Oh,
He's a
so good,
crafty
so
veteran,
good.
man. You don't do a pose, with a guy like Randy Orton. He's going to be all over that, and he was.
And think about that for a second before we get back with the more about you and TNA. Randy Orton RKO'd the TNA champion and the WWE champion back to back nights.
Sure did.
Randy's having a
How
good
about that?
week.
Yeah,
So,
sure
and
did. Yeah.
we talk about
Again,
Randy.
Randy's
Oh, I'm sorry.
he's one of my, he's a guy I've admired for a long time, and a guy, again, I don't know why people don't discuss more as being one of those greats ever. I mean, I think people are very much appreciative of what he's done, but like, he needs to be in the conversation of the upper echelon of guys that have done it all and have done it all at a high level for a very long time.
One of my favorite quotes ever, and he still uses it to this day. John Layfield. If you're going to build a sports entertainment from the ground up, it's Randy Orton, and it's hard to argue. It
He's
really
not
is.
wrong. He's not wrong. Yep.
No, no.
Yep.
And with Randy, he came up under Triple H and Ric Flair, and Triple H and you share that trainer, man, Killer Kowalski, and it's
Yep.
again you talk about Randy, having not getting enough credit. I have always felt that you, and this, yes, I'm his friend. Okay, I'm biased, but piss off. Um, you don't get enough credit. You are one of the few that I know personally that had a WWE contract, that had at the start an AEW deal, and you
Yeah.
chose both times to walk away and return to the place that did right by you, TNA
Yeah.
wrestling. I admire the shit out of that because that's a big risk.
Yeah.
WWE working. I mean, we'll get to the image sharing here in a few minutes, but man, you walked away from that and you walked away from AEW, and you're still flying that flag as you said it yourself for TNA. Man, I admire the shit out of that.
Thank you. I mean, a lot of people would say, that's brave. A lot of people would say stupid. I say maybe it's a little bit of both. I've always kind of, had a rebellious spirit, and I've kind of always, kind of rose my hand and questioned authority. And that doesn't sit well with a lot of people. But I've always also bet on myself. And a lot of times, you risk failing, but, no risk, no reward. Life's too short to not see what else is out there. So luckily for me, and because of a lot of hard work, every time I've bet on myself, I've ended up in a better situation. And my advice to anybody in those situations is, if you're looking to take that jump, metaphorically. I'm not talking literally now, but like, again, we get one shot at this life, so it's you got to do what's best for you. And I know that decision is difficult to make a lot of times. It certainly was for me, but I'm glad I made every one of them. And when you say the underrated thing, I mean, that's, you're not the first to say that. I've heard that. But you know what? The way I look at it, a lot of my heroes were underrated. Jerry Lynn's considered underrated. Bobby Eaton is considered underrated. Christian, Lance Storm. These are all guys that I am glad to call friends, and guys that were heroes of mine, and they all kind of got labeled with that too. But I guess it's better to be underrated than overrated at the end of the day.
This is valid as hell. I want to go through real because I wanted to keep. I know you've been doing media like all week, and you're ready to go into the match of your life here in just a few
Of
moments here as
course.
people are watching this. So I definitely want to do. You and I talked about this before we hit the record here. Little image history throughout your career, and talk about taking a chance on yourself. One of the first one's a collage, but I took these
Mm.
pictures. I'm proud of these pictures, and I'll go ahead and throw
No
it up
doubt.
there. There they go. There they go.
There we go. Old
Reason for
PWG
the
loser leave
season.
town cage match with Adam Pierce.
That was the second PWG show I ever went to, and I spent most of it upstairs doing interviews with you guys. So
Yeah.
but yeah,
Wow.
it's Adam Pierce now, well known on WWE television, of course, the general manager, went on from there to become arguably the most prolific NWA World Champion in the post TNA era before Nick Aldis decided, I'm gonna do 1,000 days now.
Yep.
How how is it for you looking back now and seeing, again, like we talked about it, Pierce in the main event at NPW with you and CD. How do
Yeah.
you feel looking at Pearson? He's had this extended life in wrestling, and I think much like you, very few more deserving.
Uh, Really cool. I actually ran into Adam at WrestleCon one of the days.
Nice.
He was passing through, and we locked eyes, and I went up, gave him a big hug, and we got to chat for a few minutes. And we had been in touch slightly, a little bit more over the years, but so happy for him. He loves professional wrestling so much, and he's such a passionate guy and has so much to offer. And he's a guy that when I met him at that first MPW show, which was the first time I had met him, we had instant chemistry.
Yes.
We basically laid out that entire PWG feud we did the full year. That was pretty
Oh,
much all
so
us
good.
coming up with
Oh,
ideas. And I really selfishly think that helped put PWG on the map. I mean,
no,
PWG
it
was
did. I
doing a
agree.
lot of cool different things and had a lot of like young guys and high flyers that were going to go on to do huge things in the business. But I think, Adam and our story, really was kind of the anchor of that promotion the first year of its existence, and I'm super happy about that. I have a lot of fond memories, and Adam's a great dude, and deserves every bit of success he's basking in right now.
I wholeheartedly agree. The next one, I think it was at a PWG show, but I don't remember them ever running Frank and
Okay.
Sons. But
that was probably definitely Frank and Sons. And if it's not,
yeah.
they did run PWG only a couple times, so it could be, or
Okay.
it could be another.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I can't pinpoint exactly, other than just we look a lot younger.
Yeah, both of us with a full head of hair before the children.
Yeah. Man.
Mine's 17, if you can believe that. Me with my little douchey goatee there.
Yeah.
A la Ken French on the Ducks broadcast. God damn, Ken French, you'd shave that. It's awful. I love you, Ken. But my goodness. We talked about it earlier. I mean, again, yes, it's velocity, but it's a WWE contract, and you made the choice not only to walk away, but the reason they were hammering up your shit was because you're, again, I admire that. You leave and okay, we're done with the hair. And you've never gone back to long hair, if I recall, since then.
Yeah, I did actually. I mean, honestly, It wasn't like the hair thing is like a lot. That's kind of got blown out of proportion. I wasn't necessarily ready to be there, personally, professionally. I wasn't mature enough to be in a wrestling company that was an actual business. You know, wrestling was just my passion at that point, and WWE is a machine, and I wasn't, I wasn't ready to just become a gear in the machine, because that's just not how I operate. And I made the choice to leave. Again, I was very young. Sometimes I act out of emotion, or at least I used to. I try not to anymore. And I did that. But again, it was one of those times I bet on myself, and it was, that's jumping without a net. And I did that. But you know what? The way everything's turned out for me, like, my life would be completely different if I didn't make that decision. So I'm glad I, as a young man, had the foresight and the courage to do that.
Because I'm pretty sure it was the year after that when you actually had Tracy as your manager and you guys got together. Is that correct? Am I thinking right there? 2006?
She had managed Michael Shane and I in 2004 TNA, early 2005.
Okay.
And then I left and then came back. But yeah, that was the early TNA days right before I left in February of 2005.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, again, if you're not in TNA, you don't meet her. And, God, your life's different there too.
Sure, yeah, completely different. Yeah.
Another great company that, gave you the honors. God, this picture is almost 10 years old. That shit blows my mind.
It is, yeah. 2006, yeah, EWF. Is that the
2016 Hall of Fame, yeah.
Yeah, 20th anniversary of, yeah. Look at that hat. I still have that hat somewhere. That was the year Jesse put me in the Hall of Fame, which is, that's such an honor. It's, I'll never consider myself a Hall of Famer, but if somebody else bestows that upon me, man, that's super cool. Nothing but fond memories of EWF. Jesse, a dear friend of mine, a guy that helped me so much in my early days. Yeah, great dude. And EWF, those first days out here, those first couple of years of EWF, I mean, there's an innocence that you'll never really get back from those first few years. And I had a lot of fun, met a lot of good people, and got in my reps and cut my teeth. And that's where the development of Frankie Kazarian began, of who I would become as a wrestler.
And I want to clear up a misconception on the internet. There's a picture floating around of this man that labels him as the PWG champion. That's the EWF belt he's wearing in that picture, y'all. Like, for real.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Want to throw it out there. Yeah, the EWF belt kind of looks like the old Intercontinental belt. That's the EWF championship back then.
Yeah.
The PWG championship, at least back then, is very currently, as I knock my camera down, is that belt right there.
Yeah.
So there you go,
yep.
kids. There's the clear out.
That's right.
Where we at here? Oh, love this picture of you two. And I purposely cut it off lower. That way we could get Sky's abs in just to piss us both off more. Because goddamn.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, that was taken right after the match. We were both not looking our best and disheveled, and we were like, man, we really would have liked to have taken these photos pre-match. We're both kind of exhausted, but it is what it is. And those are pictures they use for like action figures and the boxes on the action figures. But I mean, that's again, that's my brother right there, Scorpio Sky, one of my best friends.
I love Sky.
Holding up the AEW tag team titles, the first guys to ever hold those belts. And very, very proud of that, man. That was there can only be one first, and that's Sky and I.
So I look at that and I think back to years before the two of you and Joey and Scott and Chris, the dynasty.
Yeah.
God,
Yeah.
just such amazing times in that awful, sweaty Jewish community center where nobody was
Yeah.
breathing.
Again, those are times that are just, I look back so fondly now. I Scorpio Sky, same thing in PWG. Years later, he and I had a feud,
Yeah.
year-long
Yes.
feud that we had a lot of creative control in, and that's where I really, kind of bonded with him and knew that we had instant chemistry as opponents and later on as partners.
I think Sky's single rise in PWG those first couple of years, studio with Scott after him and Joey just bludgeoned him, just unmasked and bludgeoned him. And
Yeah.
then his run with you, just so like I detest not seeing him on TV. Just eats at my shit on the
He
regular. It
deserves
really
to
does.
be on a television show. I have my own opinions on that. It's a sin
Yes,
that we're not seeing him out there every week. Hopefully, we do soon because I
he is
miss.
working for he's working for Marquez on Tuesday
Yeah,
actually.
he is
Coastline
working.
Classic.
Yep, he's doing CWF. Yep.
I'm here for that. I'm probably going to go. I mean, I'm going to Rebellion. I might as well
Cool.
stay on
Yep.
County either. So, there you go. One
Yep.
more past picture, and then we'll move on to the one after that. But
Yep.
so glad I got this picture on the cruise.
Oh, there he goes. That's the crew. Yep, that's the cruise. That's all right.
Jericho
Yep.
Cruise. Yep.
Yep.
With the
There I'm
Paradise
rocking
Picture. By the way, Jenna says hello.
Oh, hello to I'm rocking the hello. I'm rocking the Paradise Kitty shirt there.
Paradise
There you go.
Kitty.
Yep.
Yes. Yep. Yep.
Yeah. That was a good one. Great. This is my first time seeing that band. We talked that night. Became an instant fan. I've been on every one of those cruises, and you could usually find
So
me
much fun.
by the main stage. Yeah, good time. That one was specifically a lot of fun. Really cool. That was good, man. Great. What a great act.
Yeah. I'm not sure if I told you this because we were so busy all weekend. It was such a crazy cruise, but
Yeah.
there was a moment I was recording the girls up on stage, and Jericho was singing "Sweet Child" with them, which is fucking bananas to me, first of all.
Yeah.
And I did a pan around of the whole atrium, and like almost the entire AW contingent was either up on the top or like down
Yeah.
there with me. And I'm going, if lightning hits this boat, I'm good. I got
Yeah.
my girls,
Yeah.
I got my wrestling friend, like my
Yeah.
entire life, and my dad was sitting there, like
Yeah.
my entire life's on this boat. Like, fuck it.
Right. Yeah. That
So
was cool, man. They brought the energy, man. I remember that. It was packed. It was cool.
yes,
That was a
yeah.
good night. Yeah.
The first night I think was my favorite, but the third night I had nothing but alcohol all weekend, so I don't remember much of the other two nights. And
That
then
sounds
God bless
about
the
right.
Lost
Yeah,
Prey and got
that's usually it's usually you're not alone. You're not alone. That's usually the case on the Jericho cruise.
yeah.
One of the days you're gonna have kind of a blackout day where you just kind of,
Well, I went out there Sunday to I was just kind of running errands back and forth. Thank God Ashley D'Ambois and her sister were there sitting there with Osprey. Sarah took one look at me and she handed me a case of spring water. She goes, drink this right now. Because she
yeah,
could see I was gonna and sure enough,
yeah,
because I had to run because Jericho and Cassidy came out for their tag match and it was starting to rain, of course. My freaking Judas moment was starting to fucking rain, damn weather.
yeah,
And I had to bolt across the ship to set up for the kiddies. So I was like, fuck. So thank God I
oh
had the
man,
water. Probably would
yeah.
have died right there. Probably would have died like straight up. All right. One more photo.
That's a good friend. Get that water
Yeah.
hydrated. Yep.
Yeah. God bless the D'Ambois sisters. I love you both. Good grief. All right. One more and then we'll wrap it up. What comes to mind when you see the photo
Oh
shot,
man.
obviously, because what do you think, man?
Yeah, that's well, I like that. I like how that belt is now thrown in there. To replacement
Yeah.
belt is in that picture. Yeah,
Yes.
that picture is from when I came back at the end of 22 and wrestled Speedball Mike Bailey and won the X Division title. Cashed it in for a
Yeah.
shot at Josh Alexander. I was going through another suit phase there. I kind of ditched that, but yeah, I like that. I like the superimposition of the TNA World title, which is going to be what's going to happen at Rebellion.
Tonight. By the way, Jenna's going to be there. I don't know where she's sitting, but her and her man are coming to the show too. So
Awesome.
yeah, it's going to be. Yeah, if you're coming out the tunnel, I'm in the section directly behind the floor, 110. So you'll definitely
Okay.
see me being obnoxious about cheering for you, for
Awesome.
sure. So what else can you tell us about tonight, Frankie? I mean, like you said, it's the TNA World Championship. You mentioned challenging Josh. How many times have you actually had an opportunity in the ring to challenge for the world title, the TNA world title? At
It's
this
not.
point,
I was talking about this earlier today. Given how many years I've been in TNA, I probably only had maybe 5 legitimate world title matches. I mean, AJ early on,
right?
Kurt Angle early on, or in 2007, the match with Josh, the 6-way match last year at Slammiversary, maybe one other. Like if I might be missing one, but when you look at my peers and other guys in TNA and look at the opportunities they had to wrestle for the world title, I'm pretty low on the list. So I've not had many opportunities.
Bullshit.
So that's why I'm not going to let this one slip through my fingers.
And again, that is tonight, TNA Plus, and on other pay-per-view outlets, if I remember right. You've got Ethan Page in there from NXT as well, another former AEW personality. And man, just this, it's awesome. I'm so happy this show is happening. And again, you can catch our coverage of it pretty much right after this is over. So tune in to the Center Rival Studios across all our YouTube channels. TNA Rebellion will be covered live. Frankie, I cannot thank you enough, my friend. It is always good to catch up with you. I will see you at the Galen Center here in just moments, my friend. Always good to catch up with. He's not the future now. He is the present. He's still the coolest wrestler alive.
There we
And
go.
by God, if I have anything to say about it in 3 hours, he's going to be the heavyweight champion of the world. Good to see you, brother.
I appreciate you, man. Thank you for everything. Thank you for your support, your friendship over the years, dude. It means the world to me, man. I appreciate you, my brother.
And I'll tell you what, one way or the other, I mean, I have the confidence of what's going to come out, but one way or the other, we'll get you in the family at Disneyland next month. We'll do the thing.
We're going to Disneyland.
We're going to Disneyland,
all
absolutely.
Kingdom, man. You had me at hello. It sounds great.
Beautiful, brother. This is Jeff Meacham
Appreciate you,
saying
bro.
good night and tune in to TNA Rebellion. We'll be on momentarily.